what am I playing? I'm playing Catacomb Kids. By Catacomb Kids, I mean Cavern Kings. So, standard. We doing this? Yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. Actually, no, I'm not. I want to have a nice, relaxing Yoji run for once. I have not done a Yoji run and stuff like that. Okay, so. Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Cavern Kings. So, let's stretch out our arms and say nope to that weapon. I want to have a good run today, not a shitty one. And that, oh right, we don't have dynamic camera on, because we've been playing as Entite, go figure. Okay, so, seeing as it's been a point of contention for me for the past couple whenevers, I decided to look it up and see when the... What? No and no. What is it? That was just... Fat load of nope. Fat load of goddamn nope. Okay. Okay, music should be better now. So, this is going to be a good run. This is going to be a good run, and we're just going to listen to no copyright sounds, because I think that's going to be good. Oh, shoot. It's probably going to be super loud, though, which is going to be a problem. There we go. Oh, crap. I forgot the game's still going, even when I'm not there. Okay. That might still be too loud. I have no idea. Unfortunately, trying to set up music live while I'm playing the game, bit of a pain in the butt. I think this should work. At least it'll be like semi-quiet, not too disruptive. Because goddammit, rap is not a good thing. I really need to sit down and actually curate my OC remix list, because it is not not exactly what I call the most reliable music, to say the least. I should probably also just, you know, get a subscription to Spotify and actually listen to Monster Cat and stuff like that, and use that as my music. Either way, hard to tell. Really? Valda's story is going to be updated. Holy crap. Alright, looks like I'm actually going to have to start my series on that one. Probably worth it. Game is goddamn good. Hard as dicks, though. Kind of a problem. Okay. Let's see, do we even have anything useful in there? Yes, we do. Okay. Trying to think... Oh. Stories. Seeing as stories and stuff like that. Well... getting wrecked along the way. I am stiff. That's okay. Yeah, wow. Okay, so first and foremost, just to continue my train of thought, seeing as I was mentioning updating this game, they have a massive update planned for mid-April, so pretty much a couple of weeks. Hopefully they're actually going to have a lot of new content for this game, including new boss, new areas, new tile sets and stuff. Also, fuck this level. Just covered in saw blades for no good reason. Well, luckily I don't have to deal with it after a certain point. There we go. Okay. Wanderbot is so gangster with his rap. That is... I don't even know. Okay. So, stories from college. Seeing as I was actually... Press T. I know about that one, Jeremy Punk. I know about the developer summon. And I'm not prepared for that right now. It's funny when it happens. But I usually press it when I'm actually in a safe spot. Like, level 10 to 20. I don't know. Maybe I should do it. Just not now. Because I have no idea how much health I think I have. And also, we've got the drill cannon, which is, like, my favorite weapon to use. So I'd actually like to have a good run with it. Because if I can get, like, spread burst shot with, like, all of the other stuff, it'd make this a very fun run. Alright, please don't be a bomb. Thank you very much. That is not a bomb either. Still annoying, though. Okay, so, right before this episode started, I was asked if I had any more entertaining college stories, and the answer is I have lots of them. Trying to think of, like, good ones. I mean, there's all sorts of stories to tell from college. Some are interesting, some are depressing. A lot of them are, like, fun and weird. But a lot of them are just kind of like, in retrospect after I think about them, or, you know, just the way I tell them, they end up just sounding like weird and kind of sad. Which is like... I mean, I guess it's true of any story. Like, you can turn a funny story sad if you have the wrong delivery, or you're not paying enough attention and stuff like that. It's hard to tell. Let's see. Try and stay on topic. Alright, so let's be honest here. Oh, shoot. Please let me leave. Thank you very much. As far as, like, me staying on topic, my name is Wanderbot. The Wander is not for physical wandering. That I literally picked the name Wanderbot as a result of my, like, inability to stay on topic. I truly... I'm not joking here, like... That's part of the reason why I picked this name, because I knew I actually tried Ramblebot, but it didn't sound great. So I went with Wanderbot instead. I'm not kidding. My one of my first blogs, actually, is a rambling something or other. Because, boy, do I not tell a story in a particularly logical path. And I apologize if it bothers, like, any of you. But I'm just like, yeah, a lot of my stories do take, like, depressing turns, but I don't know. Some of them are funny. I guess I have, like, sort of short stories to tell and stuff like that. I'd be the worst employed storyteller. I should narrate a book at some point and just, like, inject weird, just, like, rambling tangents in the middle of it. It'd have to be, like, short stories and stuff like that. I don't even know. Okay, so, oh, this is painful. So, story number 1. Seeing as stories were requested, let's think of stories that we can do. And I'm having a hard time doing it just because, I don't know, I'm kind of in the middle of, like, being semi-indignant and or trying to justify my behaviors. I guess one kind of short story, it's not really a story because it was more like a consistent thing that we'd do. But so, in college, I belonged to this computer science organization, stuff like that, even though I wasn't a computer science student. It was fun. It was a lot like a frat. There was, like, membership and stuff like that. Like, it was not open to everybody. And so you ended up... Oh, God. Okay, no, this story's gonna go on a long, rambling tangent. With multiple arcs and stuff. Okay, but so, to be a member of this organization, you had 2 ways of getting on. One, you could apply to move on floor as a freshman right off the bat. And we had, usually, I want to say, 15 to 20 slots, depending on the year, the people... that were, like, on the floor previously, stuff like that. So some years we'd actually only have, like, 10 slots, and then the upperclassmen, the leadership would actually try and convince people to move off, which was always something special. Because a lot of people loved being on that floor. Like, apartments were honestly kind of boring in comparison. Like, you could get up any hour of the day, except for, let's see. But so... like, any hour of the day you could get up, and something would be happening. It might not be the most interesting thing ever, but there was always something going on. Usually it was somebody playing. Oh, that's TNT aplenty. Usually it was, like, kind of boring stuff, like people working, but at least you had, like, people you could hang out with and work, which is a lot of fun. But so, a lot of the upperclassmen would want to stick around because it was effectively their entire social circle condensed into one floor. Like, everybody was friends, or at least had the ability to kind of goof off with each other. And yeah, there were a lot of, like, points of contention. I've mentioned a couple of them where it's like, people didn't like each other, weird relationships, stuff. Honestly, like, the pure bane of that floor was the fact that that people would date. If everybody there was, like, celibate and completely disinterested in dating, period, I think that place would have been some kind of, like, weird tech mecca. But instead it was just kind of, like, messy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my Valentine's Day episode, because that was long, and that's not even the half of it. Okay, let's take this container if I can. Push me up, but I don't have enough double... Oh, hello. It's worth it. Worth the slight amount of damage, and slight chance that we're not going to be able to get this container. Oh, there we go. Can't believe I didn't take any damage there. Okay, but... maybe I have, like, glowing reviews of this place, but, like, I had a lot of good times, and it ended up actually getting to the point where, like, my sleep schedule was awful just because, like, I would be hanging out with people at all times. 90% of the time we would be, like, working on something fun or cool or whatever. But it was just nice to have that, like, social aspect to it, and eventually I just kind of left it because it was maybe a little bit too distracting. But it was awesome for freshman year. But, so... to get on the floor, you had to, like, apply freshman year, and it only had, like, 10 slots. So it's like, obviously, you can't maintain membership with only 10 people a year. Because people are going to quit, people are going to drop out of school, stuff like that. And so you got, you know, quite a lot of people that would be, like, not, like, you get a lot of people that weren't living on the floors that would join up. And, like, they would often bring friends. Like, you get a lot of people that would want to join because... honestly, like, the college I went to, most of the dorm floors were, like, hella empty. It was weird. Like, I always felt uncomfortable visiting anybody else's dorm floor, because it would just be quiet, nobody would be talking to each other, there wasn't anything going on, it was just kind of this, like, somber, like, nobody cares about each other. Oh, okay, okay, please don't kill me. Forgot the... Oh, shit, do I have... I don't have a whole lot of items here, but we're not playing Zentite, so it probably doesn't matter. I've got twice as much hit points. Actually, 3 times as much, but still. And I can actually dodge here, which is equally useful. Okay. Unfortunately, we're stuck in a goddamn tiny little zone here, which is super bad. Okay, can I blast that? Which hits the boss? Yeah, it does, and also opens everything up for me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Whew, okay, hello. Up into the stratosphere with I go. This is probably one of my least powerful runs, to say the least. Okay, and everything explodes. Don't even know how he got killed there. Confusing. But so, a lot of people would apply, and the way you'd apply is effectively just put it up for a vote, and everybody would be like, alright, you know, cool dude, not cool dude. And there's, like, not really a whole lot of judicial appeal as far as, like, who got on. Like, it was not a super complicated process for the initial section. I think you can break these blocks with your gun. There we go. Yeah, that was worth it. But this is just, like, the most basic... This is just the, like, most basic entry. So, the initial stage. Second stage would be... And, like, honestly, somebody is going to watch one of these videos and actually realize that they know what I'm talking about. That's going to be an interesting day, and hopefully they will have no idea who I am, because I've kind of like to not reveal the details of, like, various acquaintances from my past for the entire internet, and actually have them realize that I've been telling these stories. That said, by the time that they probably hear about me, I will be full-time YouTube, and then I don't care. Maybe. I don't even know. Okay. But so... Here's the problem. Like, it was really cool being in a student organization and stuff like that. And, like, all of these things would happen. And, like, I've kind of mentioned this before, and I mentioned the whole, like, if everybody there was celibate, it would have been great. There were usually 5 girls to 50 guys living on the floor. And that's not even counting the, like, off-floor people, because... Most of the time, the women that were, like, part of the organization would actually stay there the entire time. Like, we had a pretty low turnover rate as far as people went. And a lot of people, like, didn't move off. So you get a lot of, like, returning people, but I don't even know. It was weird. Oh, good night, Arnenlock. Have a good one. And good luck with your presentation, I guess. Whatever it may be. But so, I'm not gonna complain about, like, gender ratios and, like, stuff like that. I'm just gonna talk about, like, being... effectively computer science fair. How the hell was that rock guy? He must have spawned there. Don't even know. Oh, please let me leave. Thank you very much. But so... So, you get voted on, and then you'd be handed a packet. And the way the packet worked was you had to get everybody to sign your signature. And... sign your signature. You had to get everybody that currently lived on the floor, plus 15 people that didn't, to sign your packet, and effectively, you know, approve of you. And for the most part, they would just be like, are you a decent person? Did you talk to me? And some people would take this, like, really quite seriously to the point of being, honestly, kind of super dickish. So we had, like, a couple years... my freshman year, there were some people that were, like, super hard on people for, like, no good reason. And it's like, you know, you have to do this, like, extremely long quest just to get a signature. And it's like, this is excessive and stupid. Like, nobody really wants to do this. And you're just making an ass out of yourself instead of actually vetting good members from bad. And you're, like, being picky and almost just vetting people for your, like, your personal, not club, but whatever. I need to leave. I need to leave bad. I keep cutting it closer and closer with these, which is scary. Okay. But so, for the most part, it wasn't too hard to get signatures. There were some people that gave people hard times. There was one guy that gave me, like, a massive hard time. He was actually the guy that ended up getting me kicked off, which I could probably tell the story someday, but... I don't know, still pisses me off. Hey, more jumps. Yes. But so, the following year was, like, my year of being a sophomore. And so usually the way it works is there are more sophomores than juniors. However, my year, a lot of the sophomores did not stick around. A lot of them dropped out. A lot of them were unhappy. A lot of them just, you know, didn't stick around. So, instead of, you know, having a bunch of remaining sophomores, there's a bunch of remaining juniors. Which, again, isn't, like, that big of a deal, but the thing is, the older you are in college, the more likely you are to kind of look down on freshmen and stuff like that, because, you know, they're freshmen. Let's be honest here. Most freshmen, kind of dumb. You know, they don't know what they're doing, they get stupid drunk, stuff like that, and they really, you know, let's just be honest here. Freshmen have a reputation for a reason, for better or worse. And like, all of us were freshmen. I'm not going to degrade that. It's not like I grew on the upperclassmen tree. I'm not even an upperclassman. I'm out of school. Oh shoot, this is one of the locked rooms, isn't it? But so, you know, most upperclassmen will look down on underclassmen for some reason or another. Sometimes legitimate, sometimes not. So in this case, a lot of the upperclassmen would specifically look down on... some of the upperclassmen would look down on the freshmen. A lot of them were super positive and wasn't a big deal, but a lot of them would be like, no, freshmen are stupid. You know, we don't need them around. They're just waste of time because they don't work very hard, stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, you realize that you have to be a freshman to even be here. But these are the people that were saying, no, let's lock the organization down, so you have to be a sophomore to even get in. And it's like, why would you even do that? Like, that's not a bright plan. If clubs were limited to upperclassmen only for the most part, you know how many members you'd probably get? I mean, you'd probably still get a bunch, but you probably wouldn't get a whole lot living on the floor. That's for certain. Especially because, you know, people are young and impressionable. Get them while they're young. I don't even know. Okay, but so... you had a lot of people that were like dickish to freshmen. So my sophomore year, there were so many juniors that kind of looked down on freshmen just in general as like a core concept, which is again strange. Ooh, we're not looking good health-wise. This level's just full of just death and shit. Please don't kill me. We're dead. Okay, well that sucked. Not the end of the world. Retry. And more Yoji, because I like Yoji. Because we also don't have to worry about, well, a lot of things. So, just to finish the story, harpoon gun? Nah, don't care about it. I don't like harpoon gun runs. Also, that level was pretty brutal, or not level, that run was pretty brutal at not giving me much of anything, really. What are we getting? Still harpoon gun. Do not want. But let's continue this story as it can go along. How long has been Wanderbot streaming for? Since midnight Eastern Standard Time, which I have no idea what that is. How much did you miss? Vagante and Catacomb Kids. Anyway, but so what happened my sophomore year is, you know, all of these guys were being particularly hard on the freshmen. And let's be honest, the freshmen that year were a little bit derpier than usual. I think Minecraft had just, like, started to become really popular, so it became, like, a huge obsession of a lot of them, and, like, just other stuff. I don't know. They were a goofier crowd. They were a good crowd, though. Like, some of my best friends still came from, like, that year, so it's like, people 1 year younger than me are that much cooler than people my year. Actually, that's, like, a weird problem I've had in life, but usually I'm always just 1 year too old or 1 year too young. I've never actually been in a great direct peer group, which is strange. I don't know why. Bad luck, I guess. Hard to tell. Either way. But so, these guys were, like, specifically, like, hazing freshmen, being really cruel. It was really common for these guys to, like, run into your room, or, like, run outside your room with a primed can of Febreze, and throw it in, and it wouldn't exactly explode, per se, but what it would do is, it would just start venting Febreze really rapidly into your room, which smelled goddamn awful. Like, this is like on the verge of pranking, where it's just like, it's not fun to do this. Why would you ever even do it? But they did, and they thought it was the funniest shit ever. And these are also the people that would actually get, like, violently angry at you if you did it in response to them. So it's like, I don't entirely know what you expected. And, like, their justification was, well, we're upperclassmen. You don't prank the upperclassmen. It's like, no, you guys are just dumb. But so, like, the reality of the situation was, it wasn't, like, that big of a deal. Eventually, they got sick of it, got bored, got busy with school, stuff like that. But they were really mean to the freshmen. So, my third year, my junior year, which is when I was, like, super busy and stuff, I was almost never around because all of my friends had moved away. And I was super busy in college. I'm always busy. I should be busier than I am, or at least doing more art than I do. But, like, I was in the, like, the art lab for... I want to say 18 plus hours a day. It was bad business for the most part, but still bad business as far as my sleep schedule goes. Okay, good. The entire left, I don't even know what I was talking about. I was just in there all the time doing so much work. I was working just doing art, my own or otherwise, the entire day. It was great. I was busy. So I didn't actually like get to experience a whole lot of this. But so as a result of these upperclassmen being kind of rude to all the freshmen, when the freshmen became sophomores, and all of those kind of jerkish then juniors decided to leave, suddenly you had a bunch of bitter and angry ex-freshmen that, well, they didn't want to deal with, well, not that they didn't want to deal with, they had kind of been taught that this kind of behavior is okay. Like, it's impressive to see, like, learned behaviors develop over a course of a year. So in this case, these guys, when they were freshmen, were like, no, we're going to be absolutely, like, super nice to freshmen, you know, next year, and, you know, everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. And then when they, you know, became the older ones, they were actually, like, incredibly mean. It was weird. And, like, here I am from the Lost generation, because I think there were only, like, 3 of us left on the entire, in the entire organization that were actually active, because the rest had, you know, gone off and done whatever. And so, like, these guys are just, like, so going back to that whole, like, membership thing, these guys were just, like, voting no, pranking people left and right, just being kind of mean. And it's, like, I think at one point I turned to one of the guys that was doing this that had, like, been super vehement about, you know, being nice to the freshmen when he was a freshman. I was like, you know, what happened to that? And he's like, yeah, I decided they deserve it. And it's like, what do you mean they did? What? I don't know. But so, like, this is part of the point where, like, I've completely withdrawn. So I don't even know what's going on. But, like, there were huge, just, like, angry spats between these people, up until the point where they actually started checking out too, which is kind of nice. Like, one of the, oh god, to go back to the Valentine's Day episode and or the day where I was ranting about the game jam, I think that was during this. It might have been during Brigante, I don't know. But so there's mustache doppelganger girl. So this freshman decides to start, oh god, this is weird at all times. But so almost always whenever this is going to be a tangent, but almost always whenever I was on floor, part of this organization, whatever, new people, there's always one relationship that was, like, weird. So I mentioned the guy with the kind of Frenchish sounding name. He was dating this one girl that looked way younger than him, and he looked like a 40-year-old man, which looked kind of stupid whenever there was any kind of, like, occasion where they were together, because it looked super creepy. But so there was that, but there was, like, another one. This guy, I don't actually know his name was, but we all called him Irish, and he was dating a high schooler, and he was 26 years old. A master's student that was taking far too long to finish his master's in college. It was bad, but so everybody was giving him shit for that, but I barely knew him. I just knew it was happening. But so my junior year, it was the master's student that actually had to suspend her education because she had wasted all of it doing whatever, like, practically failed out. So she was there for, like, 8-9 years. But what happens is, let's see. Okay, like, as far as this person goes, like, I know, like, dropping out isn't a problem, but, like, this person clearly could have graduated. A lot of my friends could have graduated, based on, like, the scholarships that I knew they had at one point. Like, there was actually a group of people that specifically were proud of the fact that the square root of their GPA was actually higher than their GPA for at least a little while. Which is a pretty bad situation to be in, let's be honest here. And the fact that they managed to come back. So this person was kind of a combination of, like, not wanting to go back to school because school is hard and annoying, and, you know, just bad money situation. And, like, to a degree, I recognize that a lot of people don't have enough money to complete college, at which point it's like, yeah, I can definitely sympathize with that situation. Of course, I was also going to a college that routinely increased their tuition by, like, multiple thousands of dollars, like, every couple of years. So to a degree, if you have, like, super money problems, don't go to a college with a bad financial reputation. This is not going to turn out well for you. But at that point, that's kind of the college's fault for making it completely unsustainable for students to go there. But also just super dickish. Also victim blaming to a degree, but still. But so this girl, mustache doppelganger girl. She really didn't have that much of a mustache. It's just an easy way to describe her, seeing as, like, I have no other way to do so. But so, she ends up dating this guy, and she's, like, I want to say 27 at this point, and he's 19. Which isn't, like, that big of a deal, but it was just kind of this, like, weird thing that would always happen once per year. Somebody wildly older than somebody else would end up dating. And, like, honestly, I've met many married couples where, like, one person is a solid, solid, you know, 10 years older than the other. I actually had a friend whose parents were like that, and it's like, alright, not judging. But when you're in college, it's weird. It is weird to see, you know, a freshman dating somebody that's effectively graduated from college. And I guess it's normal on the other side of the gender gap, which is, well, gender gap, I don't even know if it's gender gap still, but it was just odd. But so at that point, as a freshman, he didn't even live on the freshman floor anymore, and stuff like that, really. But so this guy was like, whenever he did return, he was like super mouthy and like mean towards these people, and angry. Like, I don't even know like how people can be super angry in college, but this guy managed to just hit the top of the angry scale all the time. And it wasn't like the like, you know, just kind of like pissed off, doesn't want to talk to people. It was just kind of the like pissed off, wants to take it out on other people zone, which is confusing. I didn't really understand why, which is a shame because he had like a lot of promise as a person. Dude like made 4 arcade cabinets when he was a freshman and just littered the floor with them because he could, which was awesome. Oh crap. Well, that was lucky. Okay, so going back to story. Sort of story, going back to, I don't even know. But so, a lot of the freshmen were, like, being super hazed and stuff. And, like, there's really no conclusion to this, because at this point, I actually left. Because everything was super toxic, and like I mentioned, I didn't even really have any friends on the organization anymore, because I was not around. So, like, I lived on the floor, and I lived on the floor, and I barely knew the new people, which is kind of a sad situation to be in. I was also hella busy, so there's that. Anyway, But so, student organization-wise, you get on, signed on as freshman, you sign this packet. Easy peasy. Except for, once you've got your packet signed, then you have to go up for another vote. Everybody's like, alright, you know, so he's still super cool. And, like, effectively what it turns into is, like, if you sign his packet, and you suddenly want to take your signature off, you have to, like, explain why. Very strongly. So you ran into a lot of situations where, like, somebody would have this, like, weird turnaround, where they sign the packet, but then they're like, no, you know, this person shouldn't be a member. And it's like, then why the hell did you, like, sign them on? Or approve of them? It's like, usually it was kind of like some kind of bad reasoning. But apart from, like, these people just wanting to be shitty behind closed doors, which honestly is kind of a sad statement. But it was, like, way more common than I'd like to admit. You know, people voting no on other people. And you think it's like, you need cool new members. If they're not worth it, don't wait until the final approval process. And then from there, the only thing that you had to do is like one major kind of like developmental thing over the course of the year. I'm probably risking a lot by being here, so let's see if I can take at least 1 or 2 of these down before the ceiling collapses on my face. Nope, never mind. That one's done for. Oh well. Probably gonna hit the TNT here, but we actually want that. There's so much shit. Why is there so much shit? I didn't even have enough time to fight enemies on this floor. It's just attack everything. But still. Okay. But so it was like this awful weekend Saturday morning event where like it's the only time everybody's around because there's like no student activities on Saturday mornings, whatever. But so everybody would like show up and be like super curmudgeon-y about like, why do we have to be here? And then it takes so long because all of the like curmudgeon-y people would be like super angry. But then at that point it would just kind of be like, alright, everybody that got voted yes on, and usually like everybody passed through, but there was always like some kind of weird disagreement that nobody wanted to deal with. But then like things kind of proceeded as normal. And it always ended up being like there's 1 or 2 people that got failed because they weren't around enough or they didn't do something right, and they usually got the second chance or third chance. Or my sophomore year, I was actually given, oh boy, this is a story that I can kind of go on for at least a little while. So my sophomore year, I and a couple other people was like, hey, let's set up a mentor system. You know, have underclassmen that we bring around, kind of we can kind of bring them around, give them the ropes, help them with college, stuff like that. And we tried to, like, pair everybody based on personality. I was also on, like, the selection crew and some other stuff. So, what ends up happening is I get paired with... I think I only ended up getting paired with 2 people. Maybe it was more than that, but I think it was just 2. And, like, one of them... Oh, right, one of them never showed. One of them never even responded. So it's like, alright, well, that person's out. So I ended up paired with one person, and she was actually, like... If you're ever kind of looking for the gamer girl stereotype of, like, actually plays games, it's not just kind of like the, I don't know, the straw man gamer girl that guys like to hate on whenever you're trying to insult women that play video games. The, like, bussy ones that are like, yeah, I play video games. Well, what kind of games do you play? The Sims or mobile games. No, not that stereotype. This is, like, the kind of person that plays Pokemon almost to the point of excess, or, I mean, I guess you could argue that that's so casual it's not even gaming either, but you know what? At that point, it's semantics and also stupid. So this was pretty quintessential gamer girl, which was kind of nice and refreshing because most of them were just computer science students and only played games occasionally on the floor, which, alright, fine. However, there's one problem with this girl that I, honestly, I feel really bad about this. Never said anything about. She never, ever bathed. Ever. And I mean ever. I never heard of her taking any kind of bath. We went camping for, like, a 4-day weekend. Did not shower once. Did not even go swimming. Had no soap, no shampoo, anything like that. It's pretty horrifying. And I feel really bad for saying this, but it was, it's one of those where, like, I have this, like, really bad thing in life where, like, I don't like confronting people about things. I'm not gonna say, like, I'm truly a keep the peace type guy, but I would much rather just be, like, super polite about things and, like, avoid getting into direct confrontations. And I just like being nice to people. And I think at this point I was actually doing a disservice to this girl for never ever speaking up about this. But it's like, I don't know, like, what her deal was. And honestly, like, she was not alone. There were many dudes. And, oh, whoa, I guess I could loot this story back. There were many dudes on the floor that also didn't bathe themselves, but there were fewer and farther between. But this girl was a special case, and, like, the problem is she also had pretty terrible acne, so, like, yeah, not bathing is kind of a problem just because, you know, you get a bit of an odor. But when your face looks horrifying and you have an odor, it's like you really should learn how to use that soap for something. I don't actually know if there's, like, any kind of health thing apart from, like, bad skin that you get as a result of this. Or maybe it's just the fact that washing hurt. I don't know. Wow, that hurt. But so, as part of this, and kind of the unfortunate thing I ran into, is I would not be surprised if, like, she had some kind of crush on me for quite a while as part of this. And, like, honestly, So I've mentioned this before, that I have a tiny nose, usually in relation to, like, not being able to breathe through it or stuff like that. Here's the thing, I also have no sense of smell. I can't smell anything, unless it's, like, a particularly odd or strong smell. So, me being me, I was unable to actually smell, anything but her when I was at all, you know, close to her. And I felt really, really bad about it. But it's like, I wanted to say something someday, and somebody once pulled me aside and it's like, you should say something to her. And I looked at him like, how? What would you even say to a person that, like, smells super terrible? And I'm like, oh boy, there were a bunch of stone people stacked on top of each other. That could have been bad. Oh well. And, like, truly I should have said something. I don't know. But she was perfectly content with whatever. But, so I felt bad, and, like, multiple, oh god, that's actually a different thing, but I can't talk about it. But so I thought, and I swore she had a crush on me. Why? Because, like, I'd be playing video games in my room with the door closed, and, like, she'd knock at it and be like, hey, can I watch you play video games? And it's like, this is generally pretty abnormal for, like, just platonic friendship. Maybe, I don't know. I don't understand people or relationships. I don't understand how I'm in a relationship sometimes. I am pretty bad with them. I am very focused on my work, and it does not translate well to relationships from time to time. Anyway, I should probably go grab that treasure chest before everything becomes panic-inducing. And it is extra jumps. Alright, works for me. Oh, shoot. I forgot this is a locked... Oh, we might actually just die here. Nope, 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 nope. Fuck. Huh! Huh! Got it! Yeah! Okay, that was way closer than I wanted it to be. But so, she'd come in, and then, like, she put her hand on my knee, and it would just be like, this is, So I just pretended it never happened, which was very strange. I felt really bad about this, and then I got into a relationship with someone else, and I don't think she knew about it, because, so, if you've never seen any of my videos with Shell, from, like, the beginning of the channel, or, like, the one stream week that I was doing Lords of the Fallen over and over and over again, Shell is my girlfriend and her fiance, but so, Shell didn't have a Facebook until, like, a year into our relationship, because she just never had one, and stuff like that. But so, nobody knew I was in a relationship for, like, months, apart from the fact that I was never around. And so, I felt really bad at one point, because Shell came over and was just kind of hanging out and stuff like that, and, like, honestly, if any of my friends had actually been paying attention, they would have realized, yeah, you know, Wander is actually probably dating someone here. Yeah, no, never actually bothered to check or look or anything like that, because I kept having one singular girl come over and over and over again. It was pretty sad, honestly. But so, I have a lot of wind leaves, don't I? How many do I have? Only 3. Maybe that was the, was that the previous one? I don't even know. Okay. But so, Shell comes over, and, you know, this girl wants to watch me play video games, because I haven't done it for quite a while. It's like, I'm playing with Shell. And Shell introduces herself as, you know, my girlfriend. And I don't know if this girl, like, was still holding a candle, or is it holding a torch for me? I don't even know. But I just felt, like, super bad about this. And, like, this has happened multiple times, but rarely. And, I never know how to deal with it. And, like, I usually just assume that nobody is interested in me, just for the sake of, like, it's a lot easier to just pretend everybody... Honestly, I guess the way I just treat everyone is a dude in my eyes. Chick, dude. Dude, dude. Not dude, dude. Transitionary chick dude, don't even care. Everybody's a dude. And so, like, I feel like this is the worst kind of policy to deal with, like, people that might or might not be interested in you. But at the same time, I don't even know. God, relationships are weird. Let's see. So, Pumpkin Monster Hunter, Cavern Kings is not actually listed on Twitch. I cannot switch it away from Cavern Kings. Oh, well, I guess we get Burst Fire. Then again, might actually be working now. I honestly can't tell. Are we shooting? I think we're shooting. Yeah, it looks like we're shooting. Unfortunately, we're in a bad situation here. Yeah, I would switch it if I could, but Cavern Kings, not actually listed on Twitch, which makes me really sad. Let's see. But, what was I saying? Oh, right. This poor girl was always kind of in this, like, weird position. And I think, so apart from the fact that, you know, multiple burst fire, strange. Alright, works for me. I don't exactly remember the thing that messes up burst fire. Oh, well, we'll probably get it. Probably die, but still. So the thing about her, not even to the point of, like, mystifying relationship stuff like that. Everyone is dudes forever. But so, apart from, like, weird Wanderbot relationship issues, and trust me, there are multiple stories I could probably tell about, like, weird relationship issues I've had over time, both, like, friendship and otherwise. But so, this girl was the perpetual entry member. I think she went through the entry selection packet process 7 times? 6 or 7 times. It was ridiculous. Nobody had ever gone through it, like, that long. I think eventually just people stopped giving her packets. Also, holy crap. How many? I've only got 2, but it looks like my katana is just, like, infinitely out. This is weird. I don't believe my stats or something. Like, look at my sword. It's just, like, just a solid line. Like, oh, shoot. There's another one there. Kinda missed it. Oh, well, not the end of the world, but still. Ooh, oh, you had her in your room in a weird position. You guys are dirty. Chat is dirty. I don't like it. I don't like it. Anyway, like, there's really not much more to tell about that situation apart from, like, just weird oddities that I ran into. Oh, God. So, alright, this is going to be off tangent, seeing as, like, I don't even know why I was specifically talking about this girl, and I kind of feel bad for doing so, but at the same time, Actually, she's probably one of the most likely people to ever find my videos, which is the sad thing. Especially if I do a Pokemon series. Come to think of it. Well, clearly do not talk about these things when Pokemoning. Anyway, but so... Whoa! We're dead. Oh, man. Well, I guess I can keep talking about it. We'll do one short-ish Entite run. Anything goes. Well, anything truly goes. This is going to be bad. Okay, but so I'm gonna continue this story next time. So if people want to, oh come on, is this the first time we get the Saw Blade launcher and we're using the terror weapon? All right, fine. This is just bad business. Yeah, no, screw that. God, I really hope they make weapon switching a real thing in the new patch, because this game needs it so badly. This is messy. I don't want to continue this rant on the next game, because I have no idea what I'm going to do. So, you know what? I'm just going to try my best on this one. But so, other things that I kind of ran into as part of this, like, sign-in process, seeing as this was, like, the true story that I wanted to tell, it was always interesting seeing, like, the various people's reactions, and there weren't, like, many that truly stood out. A lot of them were kind of ridiculous, though. Like, oh man, one of the signatures that I had to get was, like, and somebody's gonna have to remind me to keep telling the story the next time I play Cavern Kings. I mean, I'm getting a little bit, frustrated with the instant death, and also, I just want this game to be patched. Oh, right, change the view, of course. But so... one of the things I had to do was jump into Lake Ontario, I think it was, which was actually pretty fun. Because it's just like, alright, I will feed you, and then we'll go jump in the lake, and I'll sign your packet, which is awesome. Another one was like, shoot. One guy signed my packet without me even telling him without, like, me even saying a word to him. Because we were up all night. Yeah, right, I did, like, an all-night art thing, and neither of us had ever even spoken with each other. He was just there, I was just there, doing work, and then all of a sudden, he's like, yo, I'll sign your packet, and I'm like, who are you? I didn't even realize you were a member. But, like, that's pretty generic stuff, but, like, when I was an upperclassman, a lot of the things were pretty okay and normal. There's, like, one guy that I had, like, the hardest time dealing with, because, like, on one hand, he was super friendly, on the other hand, he spoke completely in memes, which was terrifying. Because, like, let's be honest here. If you're trying to, like, impress or wow people and stuff like that, if you're trying to impress or wow people, you do not speak to them in memes. You do not wear a troll face t-shirt, and you definitely do not just repeatedly yell out the word lol because you think it makes you seem cool. It was strange. Also, Reddit was actually becoming, like, super popular at the time. And that really isn't much of it. Well, I mean, there are sort of other stories that I can tell there. But I think, like, the weirdest experience for me was there's one dude who also smelled bad. There were a lot of dudes that smelled bad. But this guy must have had some level of, like, autism. I don't even... Like, I feel bad for saying this, but, like, he truly did not understand social interaction in some way. In some way, shapes, and forms. But so, the guy was big. Like, monstrously big. And he was weird. He had a porn stash. But he was fat. And he didn't talk. I think that's like the main reason why I even would assume he has any level of, like, autism scaling. Don't even know. But he never talked to, like, anybody. He would talk to people that specifically he knew. And he knew one person, and he never bothered to get to know anybody else, except for the Asian chick he was probably madly in love with. I think I told a story about at one point. Right, the Screamer Girl. Which I really don't think I expanded on, but still. But so this guy's solution to getting signatures, it did not work for him. I don't think he managed to make membership, but he never moved off, so I don't actually remember. His solution to talking to... his solution to, you know, getting signed on to the student organization and stuff like that is, he would go into people's rooms, and instead of talking to them, introducing himself, shaking hands, making nice, seeing what people were doing, he would just stand there and watch you. And if you turned around and looked at him, he would smile. And then that'd be it. He just keeps smiling at you until you turned away, and it's just like, I don't know how to process this. He could be a serial killer for all I know. He truly could be, and I just did not know how to process this dude. And so he, like, applied for membership several times, and like, people kind of took pity on him, because, like, he didn't seem like that bad of a guy. And he was actually one of the best, like, sysadmin and, like, tech guys I've ever seen in, like, working environment, because at one point, the, like, network admin guys, because the floor administrated its own, like, super secure test network and, like, web server, stuff like that. And so they had, like, a bunch of, like, weird stuff that you could do if you had the know-how, and, like, they let you do it. And so he was, like, he was doing some, like, interesting things, according to my roommate. I don't know. My roommate was the head of the network security group, so it's like, alright, fine. I'll just take your word for it. But so, this guy's, like, super impressive. Never said a word to anybody. But so, here's this guy who's, like, practically a wizard. Right before Halloween, I'm working on my Halloween costume. I was dressing up as Darth Revan, I think it was. And, like, here's this guy just sitting there, watching me. And it took me a grand total of 4 hours to make a kind of crappy Darth Revan costume. He was there for all 6 hours. In my room, standing. Did not sit. Did not really move, unless somebody needed to get by, and I had a fairly open room at the time. Watching me make a costume. I had never spoken to him before, and never spoke to him again. This is the extent of the story that I was trying to tell in the very beginning. I really cannot deal with people standing behind me. This is why I like having my like, YouTube space in a goddamn basement, where nobody can bother me. It was just uncomfortable. And, like, you know that, like, weird kind of sixth sense you get if you know somebody's behind you? I get it, like, to the point where it makes me physically uncomfortable. Like, there's some kind of weird psychosomatic things that I can have happen. So, for example, it's actually kind of physically painful for me if you wake me up. Which I do not like. And apparently it's really funny to wake me up, because I'm also, like, super delirious. Because I have, like, the worst sleep schedule ever, so I'm, like, often super sleep deprived. But so, if you're specifically standing behind me, I haven't really acknowledged your presence, and you haven't, like, talked to me or anything, or, like, really, if I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, and, like, you're watching me do it, I'm just, like, I actually am, like, physically uncomfortable as a result of this. So, every once in a while, like, my dad will actually come in, because, you know what, in retrospect, my dad is actually sort of similar to this guy that I've described, whereas my dad's pretty talkative, pretty normal, but he is very taciturn when he wants to be, and when I say when he wants to be, I mean pretty much all the time, unless he feels like talking. Holy crap, that was pretty intense. Bleh. But so, like, my dad will actually sneak up behind me and, like, watch me do video editings or recordings. How the other night when I was doing Bloodborne streaming, there was, like, one moment where I had to mute the microphone, mic the microphone. Had to mute it for a second because my dad had the brilliant idea to walk down into my like, recording cave and stuff like that. Yep, hello. This is a lot of nope. And tell me I should apply for a specific job tomorrow. And I looked at him and I'm like, go to bed. Just go to bed, Dad. Let me record. It's like, I didn't think you were recording. It's like, what do you think I do after midnight? It's like the only thing I do. And, like, I honestly didn't have this conversation with him, but it's just, like, kind of in my mind. It's like, what was his plan here? Don't even know. So let's grab this before we get immediately murdered and teledodge. Nice. Too bad the item was worthless. Don't even know. But, like, the fact that, like, I didn't hear him come in because I was super focused on Bloodborne, and then I just, like, hear movement. God. Because I had the lights off for Bloodborne, too, so it's just like, oh, we are going to die within the next couple minutes. Probably seconds. In retrospect, maybe not. Okay. Y'all need to die. I really wish these harpoons would travel through enemies and stuff like that. I don't even know. Oh, boy. You terrify children. To say the least. I'm doing very well for having the shovel. Oh, boy. This is how death happens. And there we're dead. But yeah, no. I get, like, super freaked out if anybody's behind me. And honestly, like, if I'm in a dark room, it gets even worse. Because, so, I have fairly good hearing, especially for, like, odd noises. So, like, a couple months back, there was a coyote outside that was making noises and stuff like that. And it's just like, this is weird. That's not a normal noise. I don't even know. But so... So, like, I will hear weird noises in my house and be like, well, this is it. This is how I die. Somebody's in my house and is gonna murder us. And, like, my mind does that whole, like, fantasy thing and stuff like that. It's rare, though, and generally I prefer to avoid it. This was a ramble night. This was a ramble night, but it was a fun ramble night. So, I will see you guys on the next episode of Cavern Kings. And as always, thanks for watching. Entite is hard. I hope they rebalance Entite somehow. I don't know.